Says I'm live. I don't know. Is this working? It appears to be working. Hello, everybody. We're live. It's the first time I've done this. This is crazy. And for those of you watching, this is weird. You're going to find out really quick just how edited my videos are because I usually just fumble my way through them. So let's see. I'm new to this, so if things aren't working, drop a comment. Let me know. I don't know if sound works. I don't know where anything is working. Camera seems to be on. Like I said, I am literally just figuring this out on my own. I will leave this whole thing up because I know that they say to treat it like a video. So if you missed the live, it'll be up in the playlist. I'm gonna have a whole live YouTube playlist going. And that way you can check up on the old live streams as we go. But let's see. Sorry, I got my phone over here showing me one thing. I got the computer right here in front of me showing another. Like I said, this is a huge learning curve for me. Don't know what the settings are or if the sound even works. I got a little green light flickering down here, so I guess it works. And now I'm just clicking stuff. So God only knows if this is working. So we'll just continue on until we start seeing maybe some people showing up. I don't know. But my whole goal behind this was, like I said, the algorithm doesn't really know kind of where I stand with my builds. I got the Jeep outside. We've built that thing a long way since we started. And now we got this bad boy. Finally got it home from getting painted. Like I said, the last time I drove it was November 2000. We took it out to a buddy's, had him do the whole thing, and it just kind of got put on the back burner, which is not his fault by any means. It's just kind of the way we had it set up. It was just kind of a friend helping a friend do a whole paint job. But the car went out and sat for years. I mean, like I said, the last time it was on the road was I drove it out there in November of 2000. And that was the last time I ever turned the key on it. But now that it's home, I have it here. I stored it out at my brother's for quite a few years. And through the years, I just kind of like compiled parts. So literally I have 98% of everything I need for this car. It's just not here, as you can see. The garage, turn this heater down. The garage is it's a very small garage, but I make it work. And we made the Jeep. We built the whole Jeep right here in this garage. So why not change it up and finish the Mustang? So I actually got this car when I was 15 or 16 years old. Car's been a wreck ever since. It's been multiple colors. I had it all through high school. And like I said, it just kind of got put on the back burner and I stopped working on it. Drove it for quite a few years, but since 2000, so we're talking 24 years now, this car hasn't seen the road, and I really want to get it done. And I figure now's a good time because the Jeep is in a good spot. We're just getting into winter time. So we got the garage heated. We got all the tools we need. I was going to do this out at my brother's house, but the commute, because he's kind of far away, just wasn't working out. So I figured just get the car home and we can do it here. So I kind of used the Jeep as my entry-level experience on things and found out what works, what doesn't work, and just kind of pieced it all together. So I'm going to take everything I kind of learned from doing the Jeep and just put it into this car. So should be a fun little project. I was going to do videos on it, kind of like what I do with the Jeep. So if you're not familiar with the channel, a lot of my videos are basically like how-to videos or just kind of like guides on when you're working on stuff. So if you're thinking about doing a project, then you can kind of see what I've done. And I try to keep everything basically as honest as I can. If things work, they work. If they don't work, you're going to hear about it. It took me 3 tries to get the rear main seal to work. Wasn't my best adventure doing it, but in the end, we got her. So, and I can tell you now that it does have a slight leak, but I think it's the oil pan, because it just seems like I'm getting underneath there and tightening up the bolts every once in a while. And I think the pan, I don't know, I've had it on and off so many times. I don't know, maybe the pan's got a little bend to it or anything. At one point in time when I first got the Jeep, I don't know, the original owner or somebody like just basically like diffed it out in the front because the whole exhaust was smashed, almost pinched shut. So it had to do some kind of damage and something in there besides from just the exhaust. Because I mean, they must have smoked this thing. So I don't know. Do I want to put a whole new pan on it? No. Will I? Maybe. That's going to be one of those projects where I'm just not going to mess with it anytime soon. As I said, the leak on the oil pan it's so small, and I know it's coming from the front this time because one of the bolts just didn't tighten down very well, and I've tried remedying it a few times, and it's working, but it's not working. So it's not like it was before I did the rear main seal on the Jeep. It was just pissing oil out like you wouldn't believe, and I couldn't keep it under control. So I wasn't really keen on tearing the whole engine apart to do the rear main seal, but we pulled it off and got it taken care of. Like I said, it took me 3 times. So with this channel, when it comes to a project, like I said, if it goes wrong, I'm going to tell you about it because, I mean, why not? You know, you're doing the project. I did the project. And I feel that giving you guys the honest opinion on something is going to be your best bet because there's so many people out there now. You know, I'm in a lot of Facebook groups, and you see so many young kids now. I'm saying young kids. I mean, I'm 42, but there's so many people out there now that are just getting their hands on these Cherokees, and they want to learn how to do things. They try to do something. I mean, you see the comments on there where somebody's like, "Hey, I just put a muffler on, and now my Jeep doesn't start." Those are the questions that I can't figure out. Like, is it a joke, or is something really just that wrong? You know, how do you change one part that has nothing to do with anything, and suddenly it just doesn't run? So I find that doing the projects on the Jeep, it really kind of helps a lot of people out and shows them, you know, the insight. Because I mean, you certified YouTube mechanics, that's what we kind of claim to be, I guess. And you kind of want to get a look at something and get an honest opinion, because I mean, I watched hundreds of videos doing that rear main seal, and there were so many people that said that, oh, you know, I did it with a pair of pliers and on a gravel driveway with, you know, no towels or anything, and it worked fine, which I'm not buying. I mean, I did it like precision surgery and it still leaked. So if you're doing one of these projects and something doesn't work out, like, don't stress about it. Just slow down, take your time, read some more books, watch some more videos, and, you know, you get it figured out. But as far as it goes with the Mustang, it's going to be a whole different animal. I hate to do like how-to videos on it because, I mean, this thing, it's a complete rebuild. The Jeep I kind of have some leniency with because, you know, it gets beat up, it gets banged around on trails. If things break, it's going to break because, like I said, you're taking it off road. I don't do too many gnarly trails because I just don't want to damage it. And it's not a point of, you know, taking a nice Jeep and destroying it, because I've done that once before with my old Cherokee. I had an 89 Cherokee that I built it out pretty good. And then I took it on like 2 trails and just absolutely destroyed the thing. And I swore that I would never purposely do that again. So with this Jeep, I try to do just scenic drive trails, nothing crazy. I mean, we did some stuff in Colorado. I've been out there a couple of times, but I'm not going to do anything super gnarly because the biggest thing is, you know, you get out there and you're 800,000 miles from home or so, and something breaks. Well, I mean, first of all, now your trip's kind of like in the toilet. and your wallet's going to take a beating for any kind of fix that you have to do. God forbid you have to like tow it, back to a road, or tow it home, or tow it to a mechanic shop. I mean, it's one of those things where I don't want to break it because I can't afford to really fix it. Any of the repairs I do here in the driveway, with my own money. For people saying that, YouTube's paying you millions of dollars, like, Cletus here, he's killing it, but this tiny little channel is far from it. So yeah, I try not to get out there and destroy the thing because that's not cool. I can't afford that. But, doing the Jeep, and another part is, because I am going off road, it doesn't have to be 100% perfect. As far as like, the paint work that I did to it. When I did the Raptor liner, I oversprayed the living crap out of it. I thought I had it like covered enough because I masked everything off, but apparently I didn't do it enough. And like the windshield got overspray, the tires got overspray, the rims, I had it on the doors. It was bad. So, when we do this project, that can't happen. I have to use extra care because the car's literally got like, custom paint on it. And I can't afford to screw this up because I've taken paint and body classes, but I am by far not a professional. If somebody told me to paint this car with this color, and there's no way. Like, it's not happening. So when I do this project, it's not going to be how-to videos. I'm just going to kind of do videos on it. The algorithm never really picked up on what I'm doing. So it's kind of hard to do off-road camping and then hot rods and then have the YouTube algorithm be like, oh, this is cool. Like, yeah, this works. We'll just push them out to these viewers. That kind of thing, it's not happening. So that's why we're kind of doing the live stream now. I figure with the being wintertime, it's my push to come out and work, in the garage. Tonight, we're just kind of testing things out. Like I said, I got my phone showing one thing. I don't know if it's working. I got the laptop here showing me another thing. So, I mean, if this works, it works. We'll maybe keep it up. I don't know how long we'll do videos on. I know I really kind of screwed up on tonight's because I had this all set up. And then as soon as I posted everything and got everything set up for the technical side, I saw an alert on my phone that the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight's tonight. Actually, it's probably on right now, and I forgot that. So that kind of screwed that up. And then I remembered also that the Cletus 2.4 hour Les Mullets is tonight. So yeah, if there's a lot of car people out there, they're probably you're not watching, and that's fine. It is what it is. So, like I said, tonight's just more of a trial and error. Make sure the camera works. Make sure I got sound. I still don't know if it works. I've got light bars over here flickering, which I'm assuming is telling me that my talking is being soaked in and spit out. So I mean, yeah, it seems to be going. We're almost 14 minutes into my rambling here, so we're doing good. But again, like with the Mustang, I think my initial goal is just set the camera up on Friday nights, if that's cool, and just have it on in the background. I'll maybe take some, hey, what's ups from people in the comments, or just kind of answer a few questions, and then just start diving into working on this thing because I really want to get moving on it. Like I said in the last video, my goal with the car isn't so much to have it completed by spring, just more along the lines of having it back on the ground, because as you can see, there's no wheels on. There's no suspension in this thing. The front K member's out. The motor's gone. The rear diff is right there. You can see her there. So that's not in there. There's a lot of work to this project. It's definitely way above my pay grade on doing stuff. But I think that just going slow and taking my time, kind of like I did with the Jeep, but I kind of rushed the Jeep a little bit. But to get the Mustang taken care of, I don't see it being a huge problem. I'm not building, a super show quality car by any means, because I don't think my skill set is at that level as much as I would like it to be. When it comes to fasteners and fittings and running things certain ways, I can picture how I want it and I want it to look cool, but then it kind of just comes up that like one level below, I guess. And I'm fine with it. It's my car. I can do it how I want to build it. So I'm going to give it my all and try to get this thing as, good quality as I can, which I think I can get there. I'd say it would be like a SEMA build, because I've seen a lot of SEMA builds. I went to Vegas last year. I didn't go this year, but I can say it's a SEMA build because I've seen some SEMA builds, and I'm surprised those cars were even allowed into SEMA, just how terrible they are. So yeah, I mean, I guess I hope it can be a SEMA build, but it should be a good build. So let me see if this thing is actually like putting it up. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, I got sound. It works. But yeah, there's a lot to do to the Mustang. We got to do everything. So when I do the underside, I'm going to do it just like the Jeep. I used Chassis Saver on the Jeep. Let me go grab it. Actually, I have a can. So when I do the underside, this is what I used on the Jeep. See if that'll focus. That's Chassis Saver. That's the aluminum. You use this as basically like a base coat, and then I'll come back in with this. That's the Chassis Saver. It is like a satin finish. The cool stuff with that is when you spray it on, it looks really good. It does not have a UV protector in it. So if you are going to use Chassis Saver, don't spray it on outside surfaces like a hood, a roof, or any kind of exposed body panel. That stuff is primarily good for doing the undercarriage, because if you paint it on a hood or a fender or something, it will fade out over time because like there's no UV blocker in it. Raptor Coat, I use that on the Jeep, and Raptor Coat works really well, and it's also, that does have a hardener compound, and it also is UV protected. So I did the roof of the Jeep, the lower quarter panels under the doors and the sills. I sprayed a lot of it underneath the actual body where the Chassis Saver, I did the Chassis Saver like on everything, and then I came in with the Raptor Coat underneath and coated that on there in the spots that I know are going to like see rocks, especially around the rock sliders. I painted the rock sliders with chassis or with Raptor Coat. So those hold up really well. The good thing with the Raptor Coat is if you do scratch it off, you just get a can and then spray it back on. It will stick to itself. But the Mustang, I'm not going to use the Raptor Coat because I don't want that look. I know that they say you can adjust your pressures and have like a really fine spray, but I think the Chassis Saver is going to work the best for the Mustang. Just for the simple fact is this car is not going to be seeing rain or snow or anything like that. Once this car is finished, it's going to be, sunny days only, nice drives. It's not going to be a daily driver. There's by no means that it needs to be. I have definitely got different vehicles to daily drive. It's just going to be the fun toy. It's going to be loud. It's not going to be, an 8-second, 9-second car. It's going to be built as if it was, the generation when I was in high school. Cars like this back then were only running like a 12 or a 13-second quarter mile. I mean, these things weren't killing it by any means, but, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, these cars were pretty quick. We had a lot of competition out there on the roads, and, you won some races, you lost some. But nowadays, you can literally go into a dealership, buy a V6, and like put an air filter on the damn thing and run a 10-second quarter mile. It's mind blowing what these new cars are capable of, especially like the new F-150s, the standard cab 4-wheel drive, all aluminum body with the Coyote. God, you put a blower on those or a twin turbo, and you're pounding out 9-second quarter miles. I mean, it's mind blowing. And this car, it's not going to be there. I don't want it to be there. It doesn't need to be there. It's just going to be something fun to cruise around in, and just be, ignorantly loud and cool looking. So, I mean, my ultimate goal, and I'll hold it to it, if the YouTube channel blows up and we start pulling in good money from views and all that stuff, and you get sponsors involved in all that, I will put a Ford Illuminator motor in this thing and probably a Ford 9-inch rear end, and let it sing on the rev limiter all day long, because that would be the coolest thing on the planet. But until that happens, I've got a 302 Ford 302 block. We're going to build it out as a 331 fuel injected. I've got trick flow heads for it. I've got a GT40 intake for it. I mean, it's period correct. It's nothing fancy. Like I said, I mean, it'd be cool if the thing had 400 to 500 horsepower and just sounded good, cruising down the road. But if the channel ever gets big enough, trust me, that would be my dream, to put a Ford Illuminator in this thing, because I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Vaughn Gittin Jr. I've seen his cars at drift events, especially out in SEMA. He was out there with the cars, and they run that motor in those things, and they sound just insane all day long on the rev limiter. Changes the oil, off to the next show. So that would be cool. I would really like for that to happen, because this car with a Ford Illuminator sitting on the ground with some nice rims and tires, should be cool. I'd be happy. So other than that, I don't know how long we'll keep the stream up. I figured maybe a half hour to an hour, give or take. Let's just see how things are going. Like I said, I will post the live stream. I have a playlist set up for all the live streams. We'll try that for a little bit. So not this weekend, because we're here, but next weekend I'm supposed to go deer hunting. So I don't know if we'll do a stream then. Maybe, I don't know if I can do it on my phone really well. I've seen people do it, and then sometimes it works, but sometimes it doesn't. Maybe we'll do a live stream, like driving out to where I go hunting. I don't know. It gets dark at like 3:30, 4 o'clock now. So I don't think you guys want to sit around and see a dark road the whole time I'm driving. But other than that, yeah, we'll get the project going. Like I said, I just wanted to kind of come out here and get things rolling, throw up a live stream, get this Mustang finished, kind of work it into the channel to see if the algorithm will pick up on the fact that, we're not only doing off-road builds, we're doing street driving builds. I think it'd be cool to incorporate that in. My ultimate goal also is I want to build like a camper van. So I've been kind of dodging around ideas of doing it. I just think with the wintertime and having the Mustang here, it's a better option for me. I hate sitting outside and working in the driveway on something when it's like 10 degrees. It just sucks. The other problem I got is the Jeep no longer fits in the garage. Normally in the wintertime, I'll take the rooftop tent off of it and then pull it in here and do all sorts of like winter maintenance. Any kind of extra builds that I want to do to it or projects. And then come spring, throw everything back on, pull it out, and then start using it. But I kind of want to do something different. I think with this year, with having the Mustang in here and it not being able to move, that puts me in a spot with the Jeep to where, it's finished. It's in a good position, I guess you'd say. It's mechanically good. I'd like to use it for like winter camping now. Maybe take it out on some, if I know there's some big snowstorms coming. Unfortunately, it has to be on a weekend because I work Monday through Friday, pretty much just like everybody else out there. And, so if we get a good snowstorm on a weekend, man, I'll take the Jeep. We'll go out, we'll find somewhere and we'll set up camp and do a little winter camp. I've tried filming camping videos before. Some of them they get views, some of them don't. But I think from now on, I think if I go on a trip or something, I'm just gonna film it and put it out there, because a channel putting out videos is better than a channel not putting out videos. Because I think that once you stop putting out videos, the algorithm really just kind of like gives up on you. And we've been at this for 4 years, and I'm not about to give up the fight now. I think the channel has good potential to keep moving forward. I just have no clue on how to get the channel in the spots that it needs. I've watched tons of videos on, how to make your YouTube channel better and blah, blah, blah. And I tried one of them and I swore I'd never do it again, because it says that, when you upload a video, do these settings. And I did that, and it just screwed the channel. Like, that video got like 5 views, didn't go anywhere. So I'm just going to assume that some of these videos out there is just complete garbage BS on the, like how to make your channel better. I think consistency, posting stuff, and just word of mouth really just kind of keeps things going. I was going to say that one of the questions I get asked a lot, since I just did my latest project video on the Cherokee with swapping the rear brakes to disc brakes, how's it going? People want all sorts of questions on that. And I can tell you that the rear disc brake upgrade, hands down, probably one of the best upgrades I've done to the Jeep. It just stops so much better now. It's mind blowing, because Cherokees, if you put any kind of lift and tires on them, the brakes are just non-existent. And by doing the swap, the best thing about doing the swap was the proportioning valve. Just removing all the factory crap off of the Cherokee and putting in that manual proportioning valve, it absolutely is a game changer. Like I said in that video, and if you haven't seen it, I encourage you to go and watch it. I kind of did that video a little different, where the first half of the video is me telling you what parts you need, how to get them, where to get them. And then down in the description of that video, I put the links to where I got them. I got the rear brake kit itself from Jegs, which, by the way, I went and looked. They now show that kit as a Crown Automotive kit. And when I purchased it, it didn't say it was a Crown Automotive kit. So I didn't know what I was getting until it actually showed up. And then I was able to figure out that it was a Crown kit, which is the same kit I found on Quadratech. And Jegs, like I said, was by far was the cheapest spot to get that kit. So definitely, I would say get it through them. Price shop around, but as long as it's a Crown Automotive kit, it's pretty much going to be the same kit that you get from any of the places. Like I said, there was a Terraflex kit, I believe it was. I don't know what the difference is between the Crown kit and the Terraflex one. I don't know if they upgraded the rear calipers at all, or if they sent some kind of like different rotors. But to me, the pictures, it looked just like it did on the Crown kit that I bought. So you're going to get that, and then you're going to need the e-brake cables. I did put a link in that video also. The e-brake cables came from Quadratech. They are the correct factory length cables, and they just have the different fitting on the end, so you can just hook them right up to the emergency brake cable that comes with the brake kit. I've seen way too many people that did a video on switching the rear brakes to discs, and then when it came to the e-brake cables, they had like no option. Like they were zip tying it or wrapping the cable around and like cable clamping it. If you're going to do it, do a little research on it. It took me 10 minutes of floating around and ordering the wrong crap to figure out what I actually needed and why it was different. So if you're going to do the kit, definitely just get the right e-brake cable. They're not that expensive. I think both of them, I had the price sheet somewhere around here. The garage is a mess right now, so I apologize for that. But the cables, I think, were like $25 a piece. So for $50 or whatever, you get 2 direct fit e-brake cables. The only problem I've had with it is adjusting it. So when you pull the handle in the Jeep, you know, it feels like it's good and it's tight and it's got it, but when you let off the brake, it's kind of slow rolls. I've tried crawling underneath there and adjusting it. It's nothing with the kit. It's nothing with the cables. It's something with the mechanic and having a hard time figuring out how to properly adjust it in. I do know that I had it too tight one time because I took it out and drove it, and you could smell the brakes were a little warmer than they should have been, but it didn't do any damage to them. I pulled them off, pulled the drums or the rotors off, and checked it. Like I said, when I was doing this, I was just kind of driving around the neighborhood and checking it. So that's when I found that problem. So still got to get that figured out. But I mean, if you're looking at brakes, e-brake cables, and then definitely get that new manual proportioning valve. You can get the Willwood version if you want to drop $100. I wasn't going to do that. That's kind of how this channel is built and performing, is being able to not go out and buy all the most expensive shit there is, and still making things work. I'm sure the $100 Willwood proportioning valve is fabulous, and I'm sure it's got the most highest quality stuff in it. But I think the one I got on Amazon, you'll have to check the video. Like I said, there's a link to the Amazon affiliate account that you can click on. It'll take you right to that part, and you can order it. I think it was like $30. I want to say $30 or $35 for that proportioning valve. And that was what change the brakes, because when I first did it, now you got to remember I did an older video. I replaced the what did I replace? I know I replaced the master cylinder with the Durango one, and then I did the brake booster. That's what it was. And in that video, I'm sorry, I'm an absolute moron, and I put the same booster in that the Jeep actually came with, but I was under the impression that it was a different one because the guy at the parts store was telling me that it was a different one. So if you're going to do it, you don't have to do the booster, but I mean, if you're going to pull it all apart, you might as well do it anyway, just because you're in there. And I don't think even the booster would cost that much. I think all in on that kit was fairly priced anyway. So when I first did those, I did the booster and the master cylinder, and you could tell a difference because the throw in the pedal, it felt stronger. But as far as the brakes go, there was a little bit of a difference. Not anything super crazy, but yes, you could tell a difference. And then when I did the rear disc brake conversion, I took it out and drove it, and I got to tell you, I was kind of like bummed out because the brakes literally felt the same way they did from factory. And going into this kit, I knew that the limitation on it, or the problem child that I was going to run into, was the factory proportioning valve. People were saying, I even said it in the video, that if you put if you leave the regular Cherokee proportioning valve in, it's fine. And then if you put the Grand Cherokee proportioning valve, just the guts is what I'm talking about, the innards to the proportioning valve, because I searched, I couldn't find it. I couldn't even find one at O'Reilly's or AutoZone or anything like that. So it was the guts people were telling me to change out. And I had enough, because when I drove it, it literally felt the same. Like hardly any difference. And then I decided to go ahead and bite the bullet. I found the cheaper proportioning valve on Amazon and plumbed that in, which I got to tell you, I'm not the greatest at doing brake lines and stuff like that. I broke 2 Harbor Freight double flaring kits. Yes, it's a cheap design. Yes, it's a cheap tool, but I've tried the super expensive ones as well, and I can't get anything to work. I seem to have the best luck with the cheap Harbor Freight brake flaring kit. So we nursed our way through it. You do have to replace how did I do it? So follow the instructions that are on the Willwood kit, because basically the Amazon one, it literally plumbs in the same way. I wasn't too happy because you can see here, this is the windshield washer fluid reservoir, and I was super pumped when I did that, because I had washer fluid back in the Jeep, because if you put a snorkel on a Jeep, you lose your washer fluid. So I put that in and everything was cool. And then when I did this proportioning valve, I used the bracket that came with it, which puts it on the inside closest to the motor, which meant I had to remove my washer fluid bottle again. So here we are yet again with no washer fluid. You can make your own bracket, and I thought about doing that, but to me, it just seemed easier to move the bottle somewhere else at some point, which I will have to do before it starts snowing, because I don't want to be on a trail and not be able to see out the windshield. But if you know what you're doing when it comes to brake fittings, you'll be fine. You just got to plumb in new lines. And then what else was it? If you're not, have somebody that knows how to do it come and show you, or even like practice on some pieces. I bought a roll of brake line, just the copper with the nickel inside, I think is what it is. I don't even know. I just typed in brake line and bought a 25-foot roll of it. But practice on it, get your fittings. So the kit that I bought, it came with all of these. You can see them. None of these work. These are all garbage. That hole diameter, it's too big for running the 3/16 brake line, or whatever. I think it's 3/16 brake line. Whatever the size is, those fittings are trash. They don't work. So you're going to have to either clean up and reuse the factory ones, or run to the parts store and get correct ones, because like I said, that kit, it's like 16 fittings and they're all trash. Like none of them work. But you'll get that when you get your brake line. And then the proportioning valve just comes with the proportioning valve. Like I said, plumb it in the same way you would if you did the Willwood one. You can Google Willwood and then see their instructions. If you're feeling froggy and you know how to run brake lines, you can separate the two front brake lines on the proportioning valve. So there's two front brake lines and then one rear brake line that comes off the valve. I did not do that, because when I first did the brakes, I had to remove the ABS system. And when I did all that, I just put in like a T-fitting off the factory proportioning valve. And I didn't want to tear into that. So I just left that and put a plug in the other front hole on the proportioning valve. So basically on mine, it's one line comes out for the front, one line for the back, and the front one runs over to a T, and then that sends it down to the front. As far as getting them dialed in, set it the way that the Willwood instructions say. I kind of just went, I dialed it all the way down to one end, turned it all the way to the other, and then divided it in half, backed it down. And then you just got to play with it and test it from there. But when I turn the brakes up and you stomp on the brakes in an emergency, I mean, it locks up the tires. And those are like a tall 32 or a small 33-inch tire. It's not actually it's the metric spec, whatever that is. I don't know. It's an 18-inch rim. So that came off of I believe the 2012 Wranglers. I don't know. It's kind of how the Jeep started. Got the rims and tires for free, and then threw the stock tires on there away, and then bought those General Grabber X3s. I love them. It's probably the quietest mud terrain tire I've heard. So that's why I run it. And I mean, I was shocked at just how good the brakes are now. Now, I didn't leave it cranked up. I kind of dialed it back just so that it's not, I don't need to be driving around locking up the tires everywhere. But I know now it's where I got it set now. It's really good. If in like a panic situation, I can hammer the brakes and it will just chirp them. It won't lock them up, but it'll chirp them down. And it's like I said, it's a whole new animal now on stopping. And I think with the kit, the proportioning valve, the e-brake lines, I I'm pretty sure that kit was under $600 all in, and then putting it on was super easy. A couple hang-ups on a couple things, like with the rear backing plates. I know I had to kind of like open up some of the holes to get the new studs to line up. I mean, it depends on where it's made. I'm sure it's Chinese made or something like that, so their tolerances are a little off. But since I did it, make sure you torque them down to what they need to be torqued to. I've had no issues with it. I had a couple leaks, but those were my own problems. I screwed up and put the calipers on upside down, so that was my own fault again. Because I found that out when I was bleeding the brakes, that like it wasn't working correctly. And then I realized that the whole entire time I put them on. You can see it in the video, and I even pointed it out that I put the calipers on upside down. So it put me in a panic because I had already made the new brake lines for the rear axle, and I thought I was going to have to redo all that crap again. But luckily I didn't. I was able to just flip the caliper and then put it right back on, and it worked perfect. So if you're looking at doing a kit, if you really want to upgrade your Cherokee and you want to do something that's actually going to like make a difference, I would recommend that, doing the rear disc brake swap kit. It's for the Chrysler 8 1/4 and the Dana 35 without ABS. Now, I don't know what the difference is. I mean, mine had ABS, and then I did a rear axle swap. I have a video on that one too, showing you. Mine originally had the Dana 35 rear end, but it was the C-clip rear end, which I wasn't happy about when I put the Chrysler 8 1/4 in, because that one's a C-clip. But by now, by putting the rear disc brakes on it, if something happens, the actual caliper bracket and everything will hold the axle shaft into the tube, because it's one of the things that happens if you're out on a trail and you snap an axle shaft. If you have C-clips like I do and you have drum brakes, that axle shaft will walk itself out, and you'll be the guy on the trail with the tire sticking 3 foot out off the side of the vehicle. My older Cherokee, my 89, had the Dana 35 rear end, but it didn't have C-clips. And I grenaded that rear end, and then I actually put in the Superior 35 kit, which was larger spline axle shafts, Detroit locker. And it was stupid because I paid, I think it was like $1,500 to upgrade a Dana 35 rear end, but it was a good upgrade because when I blew the rear end apart in the beginning, I was still able to drive it home. We just took the spider gears out, which that's what exploded. So we pulled the spider gears out, caught all the fluid in a zippy bag, put the bag back in, put the cover back on. I put it in 4-wheel drive, and I drove home. Whereas on the Chrysler 8 1/4 or the Dana 35 with the C-clips, you can't do that. But now, I mean, if something were to happen, I can still drive the Jeep home or off trail back to somewhere where I can get on a trailer, because the rear disc brakes now will hold the axle shaft in. So it's a two for two win on having that. But I guess I'm kind of rambling, but that was probably the best performance, I guess you'd say, upgrade that I've done to the Jeep. So I'm happy with it. And I mean, it's for, $600 or under, or just around, solid little upgrade. So I think this thing's still going. I still see my green lights down here flickering, so everything's still working. Another question on the Mustang I get is the roll cage that's in it. In one of my earlier videos I put out, I guess somebody saw it and they asked about it. It's not a like NHRA spec roll cage. This is not going to be certifiable because the door bars are too low and the angles on them are wrong. When we put the cage in it, I always wanted to have, a cool cage, and my buddy that did all this work for me, I talked him into doing it, but I told him that I wanted to have a roll cage in it that is functional, but hidden. I don't like walking up to a car and seeing 9 million miles of scaffolding all around the inside. So when we put the cage in it, I took a lot of the interior parts out there with me. And we kind of like pieced the cage in around it. So like the door bars, they come down right by your hip and then follow your leg down into the front and tie in. So it's really cool. Once all the interior panels are in, you can kind of see it here, right? Right there, we got a nice little X design, gives a side-to-side support. But then this, if you know with the back seats, this is tied in right behind the back seats. So when the back seats are in, you can barely, you won't see it from the inside. If you come around to the back, it's even hard to see it then because I'm going to do all black interior. The cage itself is painted with the same color that's up here on the hood, the stripe right there, and then right down here, and then the grill. Those are two separate colors between the car and the stripes and the cage. So it all does the blue to purple. So it'll be discreet, it'll be functional, and it looks really damn cool. So I'm happy with it. But it was cool. I mean, that was the first time ever really getting into welding, and first time ever like bending steel and doing all that. And that's kind of what kicked off I wouldn't say the passion, but the hobby side of doing welding and all that kind of cool stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's a solid little car. It'll be a fun one when she's done, but it's going to take a while. Another question I get asked sometimes, I just posted some issues I had with my rooftop tent, the cover on it. So I bought that tent, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago, I guess, and I really never took care of it. I never, besides from in the wintertime, I would take it off the roof and then I'd store it up here in the loft of the garage. But now it pretty much lives on there, and the actual cover that goes over it through all the years basically turned into like your barbecue pit cover, where it started to get really hard, and it was cracking. And I just really had an issue on my last trip to Colorado where I opened up the tent and climbed inside, and I guess the rain and the holes in the cover had gotten in, and the tent reeked. I mean, it smelled like moldy old socks. So with the drive, it took me 16 hours to get from Missouri to Colorado that trip, which I still don't know why the hell it took so long, but it was a nightmare. And then, yeah, opening up the tent and climbing inside and smelling the 6-day-old sock smell that was in it was kind of a letdown. And I had tried getting hold of a company locally in Missouri. I won't say their name because I've cut ties with them. They kind of went downhill. A lot of people were complaining. So I had talked to them back in, I want to say March or May. I think it was May, about getting a new cover because I had noticed issues with that tent cover. And months went by and I hadn't heard anything. And then the Colorado trip came and I had to go out there with the old cover on it. So I wasn't happy. Luckily, I sent some emails out. So if you're not aware, the actual tent is a Howling Moon. They are South African based and Australian based. So a lot of emails to a lot of people in different time zones, which was really hard to keep track of because, it could be, 7 a.m. here and it's already like, nighttime over there and they're closed. So it'd be send an email, wait a day, get an email, and it back and forth. But I got hooked up with a really cool company and I was able to purchase a new cover, and then they shipped it over here, and I was surprised how cheap it was. And I wish I knew their name. I don't know if I have a sheet laying around. Let me see. Nope. It's somewhere in the mess. But if I come across the name of it, I will put it in the description. I'll make sure you guys find out. If you have a Howling Moon tent or anything like that, they're really hard to get over here. They were the only dealer in the United States, and now they're not. So if you have a Howling Moon, I will definitely try to put the description, and down in the description, I'll put the name of the company that it was. They're in the UK. Their prices are great. Their shipping was surprisingly super cheap. And I got that thing shipped to me like hella fast. Like I was blown away from the time I completed the payment, which I think they used, it wasn't PayPal. I think it might have been Venmo or something like that. I don't know. But from the time I completed the payment to the time I got it, I mean, we're talking under a week. So the product that I use now that was recommended to me is this here. So this stuff is awesome. It's an ultimate UV protection. It's good for vinyl, rubber, and plastics. I've started spraying that on the rooftop tent because I figure out of the 4 years of having the rooftop tent and literally doing nothing to it, by spraying that protection on there, I usually do it probably like, once a month now. I'll go out there and douse it really good. Hopefully it'll, extend the life of it. It's one of those things where, yeah, if you get 4 years out of doing nothing, well, maybe if I can get, 8 years out of taking care of it, then hell, we're doing good. But hopefully it works. It seems to be working pretty good. Usually these things, like, they'll sun fade out pretty fast, and that sucks. But yeah, we'll be good. And the other problem is the rear spare tire, like trash bag system I use. It's a Heimel. It's not a Trasharoo, so it's hella cheap, but it worked great. On my way home from Colorado, the top flat part actually developed a small tear in it and then kind of worked like a parachute and exploded. Luckily, I saw the hole in there, so I knew I better get my stuff out of there, because thank God I did. But on that, I started using this. The 303 protection, I got that off of Amazon. And then this here, I'm not sponsored by any of these people, but when your shit's good, I like to kind of, help promote it. So I didn't focus. That stuff. There you go. So this stuff, I spray it on the fabric, and this is also a UV protector. It's a very tiny bottle. You can see, like, here's a mouse, here's that. So there's your reference. Very small bottle, but this stuff seems to be working really good too. Usually by now, those things are all sun faded out, and the black would be gray. I've had it out there for a while now, and it still looks brand new. I think the old one, it lasted like a month, and then it was gray. It was just completely sun faded out. But by spraying that UV protector on there, and that's for fabric, so that's good. The 303, you're not supposed to use it on the fabric. It's supposed to be for like vinyl and stuff. So I do have a bottle of each. But here we are. We're going on, I don't know, 2 or 3 months now, and that still looks as new as it did when I first bought it. So you can find that stuff on Amazon. Most of my videos at the bottom, I put links to all the stuff I use through an affiliate account. And if you want to browse through there, I don't know if I have that stuff on there yet, but if you see it, I recommend getting it. It's not super pricey, so it's not going to break the bank, but it works pretty good. And then this stuff here, I just came across this. Again, I'm not sponsored by these guys, but the Chemical Brothers. So this stuff here is awesome. What that does is you spray that on the Jeep. Now I can tell you this, the sprayers are garbage. You will have to go to like a Dollar Tree or something like that and buy a new sprayer and just dump that out. I thought it was a fluke that maybe I got a bottle or two that were bad, but I had a friend of mine who actually bought the same thing, and his doesn't spray either. But the product itself is awesome. You spray that all over the undercarriage of the vehicle, and it removes that dull, like dirty, just faded look, and will actually make it look like brand new again. I was kind of shocked at how good that stuff worked. And the other thing is, it kind of leaves a film on what it gets on. So when it comes time to washing the vehicle and getting the mud and crap off, like you're good to go. The stuff just falls right off. So again, not sponsored by them, but simple Google search or an Amazon search. That's how I found those. The Chemical Guys ones, I checked. O'Reilly's is usually my go-to just because they're up the street. But I think I went with Amazon on those because they didn't have it at O'Reilly's. I don't know if AutoZone has it, but you can try your local thing. So I don't know. Other than that, let's see. I'm almost an hour into rambling, which is wild. I didn't think I'd go this long. So, but yeah, I'll leave this video up for, anybody who wants to come back and watch it if you missed it. Just trying to get this thing going, bring the Mustang into the channel. I know a lot of you guys out there might not like it. It's probably not your thing. That's fine. This channel is built on the Jeep. But I think by doing Jeep stuff, Mustang stuff, we kind of, just blend the two together. It's not so much about, building super cool off-road, warrior vehicles and then, street kings that are going out there killing everybody by running like 7 quarter miles or anything, or 8th miles in the 5s. It's just about, doing the stuff. Like we all have the projects that just sit around and don't go anywhere. And this one was one of them. This thing sat for way too long. I've lost interest in it a few times and kind of rebounded from it, but I really want to get this thing done. And I think the push can be, we can set up the camera Friday nights, meet up. I'll work on this. You work on yours. It's the push we all need to get things, finished, I guess, or back on the roads. But I think we can do it. And if not, we'll have some cool footage of the Mustang getting built. I will put out live stream videos if I work on it, and then I'll put those out. And then if I do a project on the Mustang, I'll film it. It'll be a little different than the Jeep. It won't so much be a how-to. It'll just be building it, because you're not going to build the same kind of car that I am or the same kind of style I'm doing or anything like that, and that's fine. But the Jeep is different because, the Jeep, we're all four-wheeling, we're all camping, we're all having a good time. Not everybody's got one of these laying around. So a little different, but we'll make it work. So, all right. Well, I think I've talked long enough. My heater's still jamming down here, and I'm actually kind of sweating out here in the garage. Usually it's pretty chilly out here. I didn't want to turn that heater on because that thing is just like ignorantly loud and it drives me nuts. And it's really hard to film a video with that thing blaring. It is kind of weird out here with the stereo off. I do like to have the radio on, jamming when I'm working on stuff, and then doing YouTube videos. It makes it very difficult. Kelly Clarkson, she got me for a copyright one time because I was in a Home Depot, and I'm still bitter. I had to go back and re-edit that video. So Kelly Clarkson, if you're watching, you got me. So you can have your 13 cents or whatever they take out of my video for that. But you didn't keep it for long because I changed the video. So yeah, okay. Well, I think I've rambled enough. I got to get this garage cleaned up. I got crap everywhere. I was supposed to clean up for you guys, but I didn't. I got lazy. Work was very tiresome, but we'll get this cleaned up. Let me know what you guys think. Drop some comments. And yeah, I guess that'll do it. So, you guys, I'm not much of a beer drinker. I don't drink any alcohol. But I always got my root beer or my Dr. Pepper. So we'll get this sucker opened. There you go. And I think that'll do it. So we'll see. We'll just take it from here. Don't give up on the Jeep. We still got Jeep videos. I want to get the seats in it. I bought those a long time ago. If you're following along, you'll know that I bought the set of their Jeep Wrangler. I don't know what JK Elemental P series Jeep. I know they came out of a Jeep Wrangler. and they're black, and they say Sierra, which is way cooler than the ones that are in there. I just got to figure out how the hell I'm going to get them to mount in, because I want to use the factory floor mount brackets, but I have to find a way to convert and put the seats on top of it. I did find a kit. I know I screenshot it on my phone. I probably deleted it. I hope I didn't. But there was like a basic adapter kit you can get for the seats. So I'm hoping I can do that. And then if I have to modify them, all this stuff can be done over the winter, because I got room over here. As long as the Mustang doesn't get hit, I've done enough damage to it on my own stupidity from being clumsy. But I think we can get a couple more projects on the Jeep, and I will post videos of those. The Jeep's not out. We're still doing stuff with it. Like I said, if I go out and do some snow camping or something like that, I'll put out a video on that. But I think this winter we're going to go gung-ho on the Mustang. I don't know what the algorithm's going to do. It might throw the whole thing to the wayside, and we'll have to start a new channel. I don't know. It's weird. So we'll keep hammering at it, though. We'll get the Mustang back up. Like I said, come spring, I want to see this thing down on all four wheels and tires. I've got rims and tires. I got rims for it. Still got to get tires for it, but that comes with time. But we'll get her back on the ground so it's rollable. Then we can put interior back in, do all the wiring, interior, motor, all that shit. You know how it works. So, all right, well, I've been rambling long enough. We've gone an hour. Woo! Look at that. Crazy. So, you guys, I hope you guys like the live stream. If you haven't seen it, I'll leave it in the playlist. Check it out. Drop some comments. Let me know what you think. And yeah, I guess that'll do it. So, you guys, go on, enjoy the Tyson fight. I'm sure by now, if you're watching this afterward, you've seen the fight. I'm probably going to jump off here and find somewhere to watch it. And maybe watch the Cletus race tonight, too. That's, well, let's see, it's 8, so it's 9 o'clock. Cletus race is probably going over. I missed that one, but it's cool. So, all right, well, that's going to do it. I'll leave the stream up. I hope you guys enjoyed. Drop some comments. If you guys like it, definitely let me know. We'll make this a thing. Next Friday, I don't know if I want to do a live stream again, because like I said, it's just going to be me driving in the darkness to go hunting. But I might do a video while I'm out there. I don't know. It's just so weird. I feel weird doing it, but we'll figure something out. So it's all right. I'll let you guys go, and I'm going to enjoy my root beer. So you guys have a great evening. Have a great day, whatever you're watching this. Make sure you get out there in the garage. Start your projects. Work on your projects. Let's get these projects finished. Let's do this together. I think we got a cool thing going here, and that'll do it. So I hope you guys liked my rambling. I tried to hit some topics that I get questions on quite a few times through people sending me emails or Facebook Messenger and all that. I'm in a lot of the groups. I know that some of you guys see me post like a whole bunch of stuff at the same time. I apologize. I'm just trying to get this channel out there. We're still showing steady growth, so I'm really happy. And yeah, that'll do it. So as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. See you in the next video or live stream. Let me know what you think. See you later.